Okay, so now we're investigating the integral from 0 to 1 of 1 divided by x to the p, okay? And so if we look at, let's say, 1 divided by the square root of x. Now, in the previous problem, what was the issue that we were having is that when you integrate 1 divided by the square root of x, well, the square root of x, its new exponent goes up to 1/2. And if we're talking about this thing going towards infinity, well, that's going to tend towards infinity. But if we're considering around 0, so the integral from 0 to 1, we still have to put a limit on it because it's undefined at 0. But when we get to the end of this problem, we get to this part right here, we can just plug in 0, and so we'll get this one to actually be convergent. Okay? All right. Now let's look at the integral from 0 to 1 of 1 divided by x squared. Okay? So on the previous video, this was, when it's 1 to infinity, it was convergent. Okay? But what about around 0? This will equal the limit. Now as b tends towards 0 from the right, the integral from b to 1 of 1 divided by x squared, an integral with respect to x, which is going to equal the limit as b tends towards 0 from the right, okay? And that's going to become -1 divided by x, evaluated at b and at 1, so that's going to equal the limit as b tends towards 0 from the right of -1 divided by 1, and then plus 1 divided by b, and that's going to tend towards infinity. All right. And let's go ahead and let's examine p, which equals 1 as well. Okay? So, the integral from 0 to 1 of just 1 divided by x, and let's do an integral with respect to x. All right, so that's going to equal the limit as b tends towards 0 from the right, the integral from b to 1 of 1 divided by x, an integral with respect to x, which is going to equal the limit as b tends towards 0 from the right. Okay, that's going to be the natural log of x, which would equal the limit as b tends towards 0 from the right, evaluated at b and at 1. Okay, so that would be the natural log of 1 minus the natural log of b. Okay, and now when you think about this problem, the limit as b tends towards 0 from the right actually tends towards negative infinity, but this is the natural log of 1 is 0. And if I send the limit as b tends towards 0 of the natural log, that is going to tend towards negative infinity. Okay, but that thing's already negative. So since it's already negative, this is actually going to tend towards infinity. Okay? So when talking about the difference between the integral from 1 to infinity or the integral from 0 to 1, the rules end up, they switch on each other.